I'm saying is a Jnana Yogi, Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes, yeah. French philosopher. You're like, what does this guy have to do with yoga and this horse and chariot analogy? It's too big of a story for me to go in detail, but the book he wrote this in, oddly, interestingly, is called Meditations. And I know there's one way of thinking about meditation, one definition, which is contemplation, but there's also a meditation of making your mind silent. Okay, but actually the meditation of contemplation is Jnana Yoga. And I'm trying to map this together. Descartes, if you're listening, I hope you like this analogy. Okay, so in a nutshell, what Descartes was getting at in meditation is he needed to have a grounds for science. Like, how do we know anything? You know, that big question. I'm a philosophy major, and I spent many years of my life thinking about how do we know everything? How do you know this chair really exists and you're not dreaming? Or this yoga mat exists and you're not dreaming it? Because can you trust the senses? You know, everybody's ran up to somebody and went, oh my God, John, I haven't seen you in so long. You know, at the airport, you ran up to your friend and you're like, oh my God, that's not John. But your senses made you think it was John. And our senses can deceive us. You've been, as I just mentioned, in a dream and thought you were awake. Our senses can deceive us, even though you're eating that apple in the dream or falling in the dream. Whoa, I'm falling. The Matrix is based on this. You could literally, says Descartes, be a brain in a jar right now, in a vat, and you could have even come into existence 5 minutes ago in that brain in a vat somewhere in a jar, and someone could have programmed it so you just had all these memories and senses, and you're in the Matrix, to use a 20-year-old movie analogy. And that is Descartes 101. And what Descartes figured out is, even if I am a brain in a vat, even if I am, covered in jelly, powering the city, having all these illusions of what's real, hanging out with Neo, no one can deny that this part of my mind is working. Okay, so cogito ergo sum, right? It is the big thing that Descartes said, which means I think, therefore I am. So even if an evil demon has me in a jar right now and giving me all the sense data and perception that things are real out there, there's no one that can deny that this part of my mind is actually processing that, and I am having thoughts, therefore I exist. And then he went to build up that, okay, therefore everything else exists. All right. Now, bringing this to a yoga story, what Patanjali and Samkhya Yoga would say to Descartes is, oh my God, man, you got almost to the top of the mountain, but you stopped 200 meters short. Yes, you have thoughts. This is part of your Citta. And your Citta is active all the time. What he said is like, I have Chit Vrittis, therefore I am. No one can deny the fact that I'm having Chit Vrittis right now. Thought waves. Okay? Now, here's my theory on it. What the yogis would say is, I think, therefore I am really means I think, therefore I am confused about who I really am. Because he is making the mistake, Descartes is making the mistake that's laid out in Sutra number 4, which is you will identify with the mind stuff, the Chit Vrittis, if you don't make the mind still and feel the seer underneath it. Can I come back to the story? And I think that will land.